and the president's budget gets us to $25 trillion by the year 2021. That's what he proposed. No courage, no leadership when it actually comes to being able to get the fiscal health of America back on track. We've got no real coherent national energy plan to call for all the use of all our God-given natural resources. Gas prices have doubled, and we have the lowest number of new businesses, entrepreneurs, in 30 years. I think of all of those, that's the worst statistic, because that's the way you grow. That's the way America's always grown since the second governor of Virginia, Thomas Jefferson, wrote the Declaration of Independence. I might as well plug Virginia while I'm here. But, you know, that's always been the secret of America, is people having this idea about the dream, leaving the country a little better than that they found it, and having a better life for their kids and their grandkids. That's always what's inspired generations of Americans to do what we do. But we need to let this reckless spending, and I love that sign, no mo spending, that's beautiful. When you just spend and borrow and not worry about the future for your kids and your grandkids, you get where we are today, which is just flat broke and heading the way of Portugal and Greece. And so we've got to elect candidates at every level, from the state house to your courthouse to the presidency, that are willing to make the tough decisions. Say, we can't afford this anymore. We're going to have to make tough decisions. We're going to have to set priorities. We're going to have to rein in the way government does business, the way it taxes, the way it regulates, the way it litigates, the way it spends, the way it borrows. Across the board, we have to make fundamental changes in government. It's not going to be easy, but we're broke. We can't afford it anymore. And I can tell you, I think that message has been more easily received now than any other time. Why? Because families are doing it. You're doing it. It's probably what got you maybe involved with AFP, what got you involved with a particular candidate. If you finally said, look, I've been sitting on the sidelines a long time, but this country's in some trouble, and if I don't take a stand, you know, as Reagan said, if not me, who? If not now, when? This is the time. We're at a real crossroads in our country, and it's going to take that fundamental change, tough decision making, selling it to the American people about what's best for them and for their future, and then getting those policies passed, hopefully with a conservative Congress, and then waiting for the results to happen. I can just tell you that's what we did in Virginia. Patrick, you were nice enough to mention a couple things about our state, but I inherited 8 years of having the other party rule. And we had a $6 billion budget deficit when I took over a 3-year period. And so we said, look, we're going to make major government reforms. We're going to be major spending cuts across the board in different areas. Not equal, but according to the priorities. And we're going to do things just a little bit differently. At the same time, we're going to make prudent and targeted investments in things that will actually create jobs and economic development. And that's what we did. And now we've had, over the last 3 years, we've now had $1.3 billion in budget surpluses. I just announced a $448 million surplus just last week. So it's our third one in a row. Unemployment, as you mentioned, is actually.
We got jealous there.
Yeah, and we've got unemployment data actually just ticked up a little bit to about 5.9%, but we're still the lowest in the southeastern part of the United States. And we're stealing business from California and Illinois and everybody else that doesn't have the same view of the world, because people want to come. Businesses are mobile now. They can vote with their pocketbook and they can move. And those states that are laboratories of innovation and democracy, as Mr. Jefferson said, they're going to attract business. They're going to get people to come. And the more business-friendly you make your state, the more people they're going to come there and create jobs and opportunity, which means less reliance on government because people are working and living the American dream, and it means less spending. I mean, it all fits together, and it all starts with that area of jobs. So yeah, the Bob's for Jobs bumper sticker worked out are elderly people that are not being taken care of, and that's not what we're doing. We're just making government more efficient and more frugal and more disciplined. You know, one of Mr. Jefferson's other great admonitions is we need a wise and frugal government. Well, right now in Washington, D.C., we don't have either one. There's not wise and there's certainly not frugal. And so going back to the founder's vision of what government ought to do and ought to be is so vitally important at this time. You've clearly got some challenges in Missouri. You've got a pretty conservative legislature. You've got good people like the ones that presented here to you today. But you got leaders at the statewide office that have a different view of the world. Thank God you got a balanced budget amendment, right? That you actually can Although there's probably some ways to finagle around it. You can't do at the state level what they're doing in Washington. And so you've got some real opportunities here, I think, with electing a new leadership team, people that understand business, that understand free enterprise, that understand basic budgeting and making ends meet, and are willing to tackle the entrenched interests in the bureaucracy. I know you all probably try from time to time to do that, but what we did, we looked at every board and commission. We have 350. In fact, I have my Secretary of the Commonwealth here with us today, Janet Kelly, who has to administer all those. And we spend so much time with that. We cut, I don't know, 30 or 40 or 50 of them out. We consolidated different agencies, eliminated positions. We've had a freeze that's eliminated about 4,000 state, 3,000 or 4,000 state employees, I think now, and just looked at every facet of state government. We did audits of different agencies. I did 4 different audits of the Department of Transportation. We found $1.4 billion that wasn't being used right. That's all out on the streets now, new contract, but it was tied up in bureaucracy and projects and just being misused or otherwise misapplied. And so the whole idea of more accountability and more transparency and lower taxes and less regulation are sort of the linchpins to being able to build the kind of government where the free enterprise system can grow and thrive. And you've got this opportunity to do this in Missouri this year. First of all, electing a president of the United States that understands that. And I think there's a guy there that's been a business guy that cut the unemployment rate from 50th to 30th in Massachusetts when he was there, that actually created jobs, like 100,000 of them in the private sector, and understands that we're broke. And until we get a balanced budget at the federal level, we're going to be going the way of Europe. 13% of our debt is owned by China. We have no exit strategy for how to stop spending. And until we take on entitlements at the national level, which is everybody knows is the only way to get the budget under control, until we're really interested in trying to rein in Social Security and Medicare and to try to solve the bankruptcy problem we're going to have in 12 years of Social Security, until we're willing to honestly do that, the country's not going to get any better or any stronger. We're just going to keep this status quo.